Good morning, guys, and welcome to Thursday, Fartlek Day. As you can see, when I came back, it's 86 degrees, and monsoon season for the valley is kicked in because look, 47% humidity. So that explains why I'm wearing Liquid Awesome today. Oh yeah, the heat and the humidity, I felt it. But I had a good Fartlek day. Actually, I did what I did 2 weeks ago, so we have some apples kind of compared to. And let's see how today turned out. Alright, 57 hours. I think last Thursday was 55, I think. I don't remember. Needless to say, it's a lot. Okay, you can see just over 7 miles. My average pace was 7:52. Did I earn anything? No. Well, actually, I dropped one, but again, I expected that because of the humidity and the heat and the challenges with that. But anyhow, real quick, we'll give you an idea of how many steps that turned out to be. There you go, my 10,000 steps. I can sit on the couch the rest of the day. And you can see I went from sleeping to orange red zone. Alright, time for my shower and I'll be back.
Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to Thursday of week 8. Today is, of course, Fartlek Day. And today I went ahead and did something pretty similar to what I did 2 weeks ago. When I did the 12 by 100 meters. I did something pretty similar to that. I wasn't so concerned with top speed this time as much as just being able to get comfortable into the 6-minute bracket because clearly in phase 3 the focus will be about being able to dial in that speed and hold it for a period of time and not so much worry about trying to get faster per se. And so that's what we're going to go ahead and cover today. But before we begin, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to Clark and Carrie Ann, 2 new members of our viewing audience, our subscribers. Both of them joined and subscribed this week and shared a little bit about themselves, with me in a message in one of my videos. So thank you both. And give you guys a quick update. Carrie Ann's training for her first full marathon. She's definitely no stranger to shorter distances, but she's training for her first full marathon. So Carrie, congrats to you on that. And if there's anything I can do or my videos can help you with, let's do it. Let's get you to the finish line. Let's have fun with it. And Clark, he shared with me he's training for his first 3-hour 2-minute marathon. And so more power to you, and I think you and I are pretty much in line with our speed goals and things like that. So again, welcome you guys both. So I want to give you guys a shout out for that. And as always, we're going to start out with our daily shot of wheatgrass, and I know for a fact I'm using the compost now that we talked about last time, and it's because I noticed this yesterday, and it's definitely smoother. The aftertaste isn't so bad, it doesn't last as long, and it's definitely smoother. So cheers, everybody. Daily shot of wheatgrass. All right. Yeah, that was definitely sweeter without that fertilizer tang that I shared with you guys about before. So, good job there. All right, and so, with that said, let's go ahead and begin. Today, you can see 4:49 this morning. That's ran this today. Ran that today, 7.06 miles. My average moving pace was 7:51. Spent 765 calories. For those who are wondering, that comes out to about 108 calories a mile. With that, the goal is to spend as few calories per mile as possible. So I would like to be under 100 calories per mile because, let's face it, if I could spend less per mile, whatever I have on board will last longer, and that's vital, especially when you get to those last 6 miles. But oh yeah, I don't know if I finished telling you my the motto I came up with for the motto I came up with for the marathon. I came up with this about mile 21, 22 when I ran Lehigh Valley in 2013, and that is simply this. And Carrie Ann, take note because you're going to feel the same way. And that is, the marathon is a beast. It eats the weak and rewards the strong with a strong finish. So keep that in mind. If you're not ready for the game, it's going to eat you alive. I'm not going to kid you. you're going to be hating life. You're going to be asking yourself, why did I sign up for this? But if you're properly prepared for this, trained, you've been mid-run fueling, everything, if you're properly prepared for this, then the marathon will reward you with the glory and joy of actually finishing it, and of course the pride in taking home the medal. So, with that said, keep that in mind. I'm not here to fluff anything. I've done this 9 times. This is just the reality of it. So bear that in mind, and of course we always want to go out as strong as possible, and so let's help you get there. Going back to this, you can see I spent 765 calories. That comes out to 108 calories a mile. Yes, today was 88 degrees, and you saw from my watch, what was it, about 50% humidity. Yeah, just nasty, nasty. And in the blue, yes, I got hit with got hit with traffic after mile 1, and then you could see 12 times I took off. Any dips we see in my speed, are simply just me trying to find that 8-minute pace after coming down. Clearly here I slow down a little bit too much and have to pick back up to kind of maintain that 8-minute pace to the course. And well, actually outside after the first 4, looks like I was kind of doing that the rest of the day. But this just tells me something. Obviously I came into a little tired, and the heat was definitely playing its role with me. We could see by the peaks where I wasn't exactly scoring too big with regards to my pace. The last 3 were clearly the strongest: 5:17, 5:30, and 5:16. That's where I peaked out there. So hey, just because you're going to go into your training day with one plan, one intention, sometimes it takes a while for your body to warm up before it really performs and delivers. You can see that. So just keep that in mind and just take it in stride. Take it in stride, because you'll always find out. Some days are just simply better than others. Just the way it goes. Now, we look here in the red, we look at the heart rate. I had little bumps with the heart rate. Clearly I wasn't spiking it, going too crazy, but through the course of the distance, yes, it did slowly climb. And then we come down here, and let's get this moved over just a little bit. Oops. We come down here, and after mile 1, this is where I got caught with that street, with traffic. That's where I entered that. And then, of course, when I went to go take off, doing the 70 stride count thing, clearly here, I miscounted or added a few extra just to make certain I got my distance in. For those who are new, 0.06 miles or 0.06 miles happens to be a perfect 1/16 of a mile. And so when every half mile I want to ideally do a 100-yard dash, a 100-meter dash. And so I had figured out a couple Thursdays ago, and I talked about it in my video, where during my run I do this calculation in my head based on what my average stride length is during intervals on Tuesday. And I determined for safety measure that 70 strides would be the metric equivalent distance of 100 meters. It just so happens my math was correct. So what I do here is I just count out, ideally I count out every 70 strides after I get 1 through 10, and then I go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, things like that. And so I'm not going 21, 22, that's too much. I think counting in increments of 10 is easier, and so that's how I get to my 70. Sometimes I lose count, and so real quick, we could see here, third one in I went over, fifth one in went over, seventh one in I went over, and to be honest with you, I was having fun with these. I was really enjoying them. They're They weren't breaking the bank. They weren't killing me. And so I was okay with actually running a little further, believe it or not, because I enjoyed the speed. I'm not going to lie to you. I enjoyed the speed. The speed is fun. And so a lot of times I was not too anxious to get to my 70 count so I could slow down. I wasn't always anxious to do that. And honestly, this is why I'm not doing .06 every single time. Sometimes I would miscount. Sometimes I would intentionally just go over. And so that's where that comes in. And looking at how things warmed up, first time out, average pace 6:27, 6:19. Brought it down here, sub 6. And then I personally don't know what happened. I thought I was an easy street, maybe. I thought I was an easy street, and 2 consecutively brought it to 6:12. And then I got my act together. I felt the second one. I'm like, all right, I need to get my head back in the game, and brought it back down under sub 6. I was fine with that. We're looking at my, I don't want to look at average heart rate because in 100 meters, your heart doesn't even know what's going on until you're done. And so I look at the maximum heart rate, and 157 fine, and little by little it started creeping up. It started creeping up. We peaked out. We peaked out here, and at about we actually did get to 179. Okay, and so yeah, we held about 173, 174, and then this last one. This last one, it just peaked out at 179, and that's fine. The heat is just going to kick your butt. It's just going to kick your butt, and I got something to share with you guys on that. And so I'm not too worried. My number one concern was obviously personally feeling good myself about the training I did today. All factors aside, humidity, heat, things like that. And so that was good. I'm definitely feeling a little fatigue in the calves again. I've talked about this before, and I noticed this because we look at my stride length during my recovery, ideally my 8-minute recovery time, and I'm at 182. So my stride is short. My stride is short because my legs are fatigued. And real quick, because we're talking about my speed work. Oh, here we go. Looking here in the white, my body did a pretty good, looking at the white, my body did a pretty good job, maintaining about the 8-minute pace, after the fact. So my body was cool with that. It definitely wasn't too highly motivated to go faster than that, and I'm fine. But now, when we want to compare apples to apples, now we're going to go to 2 weeks ago. This was June 29th, up here with June 29th, about the same time in the morning, and I spent 764 calories compared to what I spent today. 765, 1 calorie off. Check this out. 2 weeks ago, today I ran 55:29 compared to 55:11, so I was 18 seconds off. Average pace 2 weeks ago was 750, today was 751. Pretty much right there, but this is what I was trying to point up. Even though I highlighted 2 weeks ago, I want to go ahead because we're talking about the cadence. And notice here in the white, 2 weeks ago I was comfortably in the 180 zone, 180, maybe a little 181. So yeah, my legs were feeling it, and so as we've talked about before, when your legs are fatigued, your body wants to compensate by bringing your stride in. It's not going to let your legs extend too far because it's not as comfortable when they're further out than when they're closer together. So this is some nice feedback to let me know that I felt my legs are tired, and the results show my legs are tired. Now, when we talked about heat, this is 79 degrees, this is 88 degrees. Now, I went through the Garmin archives, and I don't know exactly how far this goes, but I imagine every single training event I've ever recorded with my Garmin is on here. Now, we talk about heat, or I talk about heat. Today was 88. We know last 2 weeks ago was 79. Pretty comparable result. Now, let's go back to here, November 22nd of last year. Again, I'm running about an hour later in the morning, fine, but 48 degrees. 48 degrees, we look at the calories, 767, so 2 more calories, okay, whatever. But we also noticed my average pace was 7:39. So back then I ran faster, spending almost about the same calories under cooler temps. And we look at what I was doing back then, and I was doing 8.7s. I made up this number. So what I was doing was, after my first mile warm-up, ideally I'd run the next mile at about an 8. Again, my body sometimes doesn't want to listen. And then the following mile, I run it at about a 7. And then, of course, I get stuck at the light, try to recover at 8, then do a 7, try to recover 8, do a final 7. And then the remaining is 8. So I was doing 8.7s, 8.7s, and you know, my heart rate even then peaked out after a mile at 7 minutes, peaked out at 176. So peaked out at 176, and you know, my calories were definitely lower too. Well, at least my fast mile calories lower, but 176 for a whole mile. So that was back in November. Now I also pulled up. This is when, as far as I could tell in recorded history, when I was in like the best marathon shape. This was 2015. I was getting ready to. I was training for a marathon in Tucson, and that summer it just so happened my car died on me, and because of the bills I had, I couldn't afford a car payment, and so for way too long, I was still running my 40 miles a week in the morning, and then I could either take the bus to work or cycle to work. And so I opted to cycle to work, which still would have got me about the same time because, you know, buses are just bus speed. And so I was cycling 75 miles a week to work. And this is not like you on your 21 speed road bikes with the skinny tires. So I was doing that 75 miles a week plus running 40 miles a week. And so we go here to October, I pulled up October 22nd of 2015. And we can see here, same course, you know, well, hang on, to give you a visual, you know, same course as always, so apples to apples. Back then, I ran just a little smidgen further. I also averaged 557 calories compared to 765 compared to 557. A huge difference. Clearly in some much better shape. And back then it was 57 degrees. And so we look at that and we say, okay, what do we do back then? And getting a chance to look this over, I was doing half-mile splits. And so what I was doing back then was my 1 mile warm-up, which my 1 mile warm-up then was 8:29. Then I went ahead and did 2 miles at sub 7, 2 miles at sub 7. Then I went ahead and I'm thinking, okay, let's switch this up now. So I did a half mile at 7. Then I did a half mile at 6:45 and got caught at the street. Then my next half mile I did a 7. My next half mile after that I did a 6.5. Then I went 7, 6.5, 7, 6.5, all for half mile increments or splits. And even after even the very last half mile at 6:30, I peaked out at 172. If I could get back there in time, if I can get back there in time for this marathon, I would definitely be happy. I would definitely be happy. Although I'd like to see the heart rate lower, I'd still be happy. To give you an idea, now back then, you could see I was burning, 1 mile, here we go, 1 mile splits, okay? Figure this one out. 20 calories the first mile? That's weird. But these next 2 miles, like 80 calories for the full mile. Each half mile, we add these up, just over 80 calories. Just over 80 calories a mile. I was in like awesome shape. I don't argue. And so, how much of that had to do with cycling back and forth to work 75 miles a week? I don't know. But it certainly didn't hurt much. So, and that was that. That's when I was like, again, as far as recorded marathon training goes, that was when I was like in peak shape. And I know I can get back there. Can I get back there in 8 weeks? That I don't know. But I know I can get back there, so I'm not 100% concerned. Now, something that I want to share with everybody, and this goes out to both Clark and Carrie Ann, that I think it was Clark I mentioned in my notes to you, that I'm going to go ahead and post this in the description section of today's video. And this is something I found about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. It's from Hanson's Running. If you know about the Hanson Brooks project, Hanson's Brooks running project out of Michigan, Hanson, Michigan, their whole philosophy, you can look them up online, their whole philosophy is never to do a long run more than 16 miles. But at the same time, the following day after a 16-mile long run, you're going to do a 10-mile run. And the idea is that though you've had a night's rest, you're not 100% recovered. So on day 2 during your 10-mile run, there's still going to be the pre-exhaustion from the day before. And the whole idea is to help mentally prepare you to run 10 miles under tired legs, because you'll have to get used to that. So that's a quick snippet on their training philosophy. But what I wanted to share with you guys was this. And again, it's going to be in the description section. And so let's just say I want to run 2 hours and 50 minutes, because why? I would like some insurance. I'd like to know that I could slow down for 10 minutes and still make my 3-hour mark. So we hit calculate pace, and it's going to tell me if I want to run a 250 marathon, my average pace needs to be 6:30. Okay, I get that. It also tells me that my easy runs are going to be between 8 and 9 minutes, moderate 7:30 to 8:30, long runs 7 to 8:30. Even under the circumstances right now, my long runs are pushing the 8:30 limit, shy of last week, which was total hell. But only reason I don't run 8:30s right now is because I run based on heart rate. Now, this week I'll run based on pace, and so running an 8:30 is not going to be a problem. And it even talks about your speed workouts and lets you know exactly, ideally, what paces you should be for this stuff. Then, of course, it tells you if you're going to run, if a 250 marathon is my goal, then if I'm going to enter into other events such as a 5K or even a 10K, this is what my pace should be. This is what my finish time should be for that given event. If I could do that during that kind of event, that lets me know that clearly I'm on target. Now I know, Carrie Ann, you mentioned that you had a bunch of races, that you signed up for, 5Ks or 10Ks and things like that. So if you have a marathon goal you want to achieve, use those 5Ks and these 10Ks and work on achieving the finish time that you want to achieve based on your marathon finish time. So that would be good practice for you. Now, something else. We all know, I don't know exactly where you guys live, but you guys know where I live. And so heat, humidity have not been my friend, although I've been purposely training through that, mostly at the expense of my heart, but I've been training through that. Now, some of these numbers you could say, okay, Mark, you've been kind of hitting these with some of those training days you've shared with us. Now, look at this. They have, let's go ahead and put in today's temp, 88 degrees and 50% humidity. Notice the easy pace right now, a 9-minute easy pace. Look what happens when we add weather to it. My easy pace now became a 10-minute. Although the goal here is to still run this. Now even here, God help you, you run a marathon in this weather, they even adjusted here that in reality your adjusted marathon time would be 3 hours and 3 minutes, 3 hours and 15 and a half minutes. Even so, with this calculator, based on the weather, hey, don't expect to run a 250 in 88 degrees. It's probably not going to happen. Going down here, we look at my speed workouts, and surprisingly, some of the workouts I've been doing are well within these numbers. And the workouts I'm doing weren't designed based on these numbers. They were designed based on my principles, my philosophy. So kind of interesting to know that the way I've been training myself really falls in line with the way Hanson's running suggests you should run in order to achieve your goals. So go ahead and play with this, you guys. Feel free to post your thoughts and comments below after you punch in your given race paces. Let me know what you think about that, whether or not your numbers correlate based on the training you're doing for these kind of workouts, whether or not you yourselves are hitting these numbers yourself or not. Now also, something else Clark and I talked about, or messaged about in our comments, was goo gels. I ordered a bunch of goo gels back on November 15th because I mentioned with Clark that yes, this come phase 3, I'll be definitely doing mid-run fueling and things like that. And so I go ahead and I found a flavor that I thought I would like, for the better purposes of it. And this actually has just a little caffeine in it. So I went with the Jet Blackberry. A 24 count is $25.64 or $1.07 each. If you could find these for less than $1 at your local running store, buy them there. If not, bulk via Amazon is the way to go. And here, so if I plan to, my goal will be to take one. I'll take one at the beginning, and then every 4 miles, take another one. And so, so this way I always have, energy running through me. And so, yeah, Clark, you asked about, goo gels or mid-run fueling. This is what I'll be doing come phase 3, and I still have a bunch of these left, so I think I'll be fine. So that kind of gives you an idea about that. As far as mid-run fueling, something that when I ran Chicago in 2011, something they did because Gatorade was a huge sponsor for them, was that they had this pre-race fuel stuff that's a little thicker than the Gatorade, but not as thick as goo gel. And you ideally take that about 15 minutes before you start. And so that was kind of neat. And so when it comes time to pre-race fuel, yeah, I'll take a goo gel before I leave, and then mile 4, mile 8, and mile 12, of course, depending on how long I'm running, and go that route. So this way, before I leave the house, I've got goo in the pipeline or in the channel, and so this way it can slowly work its way into my digestive tract before I actually even need it. So that's going to be a good thing. So I want to share that with you guys. I do appreciate the comments and questions. As you could hear, I definitely I've addressed these to some capacity in my response to you guys, and I thought that your comments warranted, or I thought your comments were really good and that everyone else could benefit from them. That's why I'm sharing them here. So that's all I've got for you guys today. I know this has gone long. I apologize. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday I post a new video. Saturdays are long runs. And we are almost done with week 8 of my 16-week marathon training program. If you like today's video, be certain to hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'll be happy to address those. And that's it. You guys have yourself a fantastic Thursday, and I will see you Saturday. Take care.